Hello, and welcome to the Sheep Seats. I'm your host, Matthew, aka Sheep, aka Dark Sheep, and we are here getting ready to draft some baseball. Much like Teoscar Hernandez is back with the Dodgers, Jason is back with us tonight. What's up, Jason?
How are you, man? I'm not getting paid as much as Teoscar, but I'll take it. I'm good.
Well, you and me both. You and me both. In fact, it's costing me money to run this stream, thanks to this, lovely StreamYard price increase. But we don't need to get into that. What's up? How's your holiday been?
Good. It was good. Went by quick, but had a great time. Spent great time with family. It was awesome. So just trying to get into the new year and make 2025 better than this year. How about yours?
It was great. Yeah, it was great. Halfway over. Still got the other side of the family to celebrate with over New Year's. So we're heading up to Minnesota tomorrow. Let's get right into it. Let's jump in, see where we're at. It looks like we are at about 7 people remaining. So yeah, I guess your initial reaction to the news today, Teoscar?
I think it kind of seemed like we thought maybe that was probably going to be the landing spot. So I think maybe that's been kind of somewhat baked into his price already. I'm sure there's going to be a knee-jerk, rise in ADP to get him in because he's confirmed in the Dodgers lineup. So I'll still probably get a little bit of him, but it's a pretty steep price to pay for Teoscar, even though it's a great situation. I don't know. I'm still feeling it out. What about you?
What's up, Brad? Well, viewers to the show last year knew I was in on him in the bullpen contest, and kind of followed up. I think he will probably be up here in this early 40s range for sure. Now that it's back on the Dodgers. And we're full. Look at that. Excellent.
Look at that. Sweet.
We have some cachet in this world. Fill it thing.
Getting there.
But no, to finish my Teoscar thought, what is up, Dubes? I think the other thing that's going to drive him up is the fact that there are going to be 3 drafters, 2 or 3 drafters with Dodgers already in the first round, or first and second round.
Yeah.
So one of them is likely to pair him in there, I think.
Yeah. And I can still pay that early 40s price for him because going around, Riley Green and Brian Reynolds, especially with Brian Reynolds, you kind of know what you're going to get. I think Teoscar has more upside, but so I can stomach a little bit of a rise in him. I just haven't really been getting there all that much because I usually have 2 outfielders by the time I get there anyway. Usually.
Okay. Yeah. I took a couple of speculative Dodger stacks with him already, so that feels good. I wish that was in the dinger, but So we got the influencer 11 and 12 pick.
Yay.
So this is going to be a extremely fun draft. We got friend of the show. Let's see who we got in here. Bjorn Masters in here. Dan Preciado is in here. Met him at the Dog Bowl. I know he's excited for baseball. I believe he's a Dodgers fan. So, and definitely recognize Roto Surgeon from the internet streets.
Yep.
Soto going before Judge. Not crazy, but not common.
No. Yeah, I know that we talked a little bit about Shohei last time you and I got together, and just wanted to see if your thoughts on him had changed. I know you were kind of fading-ish him because of pitching again, stuff like that. Just want to see where you're at on that.
I've gone back to just taking him first pick. I thought about basically what you said is if you want him, you got to take him first. So
yeah, that's kind of my thing. I kind of get the quote fade of him, but your only access to him is through the 101, which, by the way, this is my 39th draft. I have yet to get a 101, not a single one.
See, you need to up your influencer game. there.
Yeah, I gotta.
Although
do
the 1-on-1 hasn't been where you wanted to be the last couple of years, so
that is true. I am. Let's see. I want to make sure I get. I'm getting in on Julio this year.
All right. Let's see. We're going to take Jose. And so the question here for me, young outfielder, Schwarber, Matt Olson, or Vlad. I think we're going to take Schwarber here.
Yeah. So another part of my Julio pick there, I wanted J-Ram, but my fear was you would double tap Julio and Schwarber, and I wanted to get one of those two guys.
Yeah.
So
that is likely what I've done. Although, yeah. So, yeah. Now you get to pick from maybe one of these young guys, one of these veterans. Okay, Mookie.
I'm just going to go Mookie. It's really hard to pass up an early second round. I mean, right at the turn, but Mookie Betts going where he is feels like a pretty solid value. I had a really hard time clicking his name last year at like 5 or 6, but somewhere between like 11 and 15, I'm good with it now.
Okay. The other thing I had in consideration there was the Freddie Mookie stack. Done that a couple of times, I think, already. I've got about 20 finished drafts, and I got like 20 going. Probably maybe one or two of those teams. But both guys, they have reached, potential decline ages, and you're putting a lot of infield, but you're getting that Dodgers offense.
Yeah, that's a fun way to start with the Mookie and Freddie. I just, especially in the 11 and 12 hole, double tapping infielders to me does not feel wonderful because by the time you get back around the 3rd and 4th round, if the draft room is in on outfielders, you're kind of stuck with having to make a decision. Do I go, 3 elite infielders and reach for an outfielder that like I kind of don't want? That's kind of how I've felt. And I've drafted quite a bit in the 11th and 12th hole this year, so I feel pretty comfortable saying that. But that's, I put such a premium on getting out of the 1st and 2nd round with at least one outfielder if I can, because getting behind at that position feels really, really bad this year to me.
Okay. Yeah. Kind of a fall for Duran here in this room. I don't know where you have Duran at, or where you feel like you've taken him.
I'm taking Julio over him every time. I'm usually doing what I did in this draft, where I'll take one of those elite infielders like a J-Ram or a Mookie in this position. And then Schwarber seems to always go before I can grab him in my draft. So I might have one share of Schwarber, but I'm really kind of coming around on Julio. I was not in on him last year in the 1st round, but he kind of feels like a guy who could end you in the 2nd because he, like the last 2 seasons, he's had this like 2 or 3 week stretch where he is just Barry Bonds, like just unbelievable stretches. And those are the type of guys you need to really win in the playoffs. So hoping for a 3rd year season, he turns into that dude. And I kind of like stacking Seattle a little bit later. So I've been trying to pair him up with some Mariners too. Not too many, but.
So, okay, outside of the big dumper, who else you got on the Seattle that you like?
Actually, it is mainly just him. Hold on 1 second. Let me see. I'm going to try to work in a little bit of a Rosarena. And I know like people are trying to have the Victor Robles thing happen again for what feels like the 9th straight year. But per plate appearance, he was pretty good in this format last year. So
yeah, once you went to Seattle for sure.
Yeah, I'm starting to kind of think about him a little bit, but I do like the just mini with Rodriguez and Raleigh.
Okay.
Let's do. I really don't love this range. I have a hard time. I'm just going to go with Corey Seager.
Okay.
Seager,
Kyle Seager, on your Seattle stack.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Michael Harris, come on down. And kind of open to. Let's see. We did not get a Philly guy to come back to us. We're going to take consistent here. Brian Reynolds.
Oh, you're good.
Not really setting up any stacks with these first picks, but getting some nice outfield consistency, hopefully.
Yeah, I really want to embrace fun and go James Wood, but man, this is a really tough price for me to click on that. I think I'm just going to go with Santander. I'm going to try to get some more of him in my lineup. I love him in this format because he's the type of guy who'll hit like 5 home runs in 2 days.
Yeah.
And then he'll just do nothing. And that's fine. That's okay in this format. He just needs to hit those 5 home runs in the right week. So.
And for me, I think I've been taking a lot of him also as a 3rd, 4th outfielder in these early outfield builds because while he is a free agent, I don't think there's a bad landing spot for him. I think he can make an impact on pretty much any team, and
yeah,
I think I'm surprised he's not signed already, but
I am too. I would love to see him land in a nonsense spot like Colorado. That'd be pretty awesome. But yeah, I feel like there hasn't been too much buzz around him. I know like he was kind of linked with the Dodgers loosely, but obviously that's not going to happen now that Teoscar is signed. So
yeah,
it'll be very interesting where he goes.
I feel like pretty much he's linked to any team because he is such a fit. Everybody's like, oh, they could sign Anthony Santander. He would fit this hole in the outfield that they have.
Yeah, and I mean, he's clearly got power. What did he hit? 44 last year? Is that how many he hit last year? No, look. Yeah, 44 home runs last year. I mean, that'll play anywhere. And, and that's in, he was in a great offense last year too. Baltimore was awesome. So, hopefully he lands somewhere where the offense is decent around him. But he just feels like in that range, he just feels like a good, solid, especially best ball type pick because of just how he profiles as a hitter. Yeah.
Speaking of best ball, we got our friend Bjorn here taking Acuna and Trout on the same team. He could have 3 number 1 picks on this team 100%. With Ohtani, Acuna, and Trout.
See, that is not drafting scared. I love that. The Acuna thing is very difficult for me right now, because he's going to miss at least a month. I don't think his price is going to increase at all. And if anything, I feel like it's going to decrease. So if you get some news that he's going to miss like 6 to 8 weeks for some reason. So I was getting to him a little bit early and I've really backed off of him because I just want to kind of see what happens. It doesn't feel like a risk I have to take right now.
I guess Bjorn likes to show up on the stream, so he likes to jump in. All right, we are coming up. You have a 2-2. I've got a 2-1 or a 1-2. I should 1-3. I can't say numbers. All right.
What is with the? I feel like there's some Garrett Cole disrespect happening. Like, why am I getting him at around 60 on a somewhat consistent basis lately? I'm good with it.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I feel like this is a nice price to jump in on him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I took Cruz there to go with Brian Reynolds. I still think there is a breakout season potential for Cruz somewhere. I'm going to take my first pitcher here. I want to be like you. I'm going to take Cole Reagans, who man, I don't know about this group of pitchers. Blake Snell probably has that number one pitcher upside, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially week to week.
Well, for sure, weekly on a basis.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then Burns, I've already seen multiple people with their Burns is on the decline pieces and tweets and stuff. Okay, all right. You going with?
It doesn't feel good. There are so many ways that Luis Robert can go bad. I question his will to live on the White Sox, and I don't blame him. But we talked about it I think I took him on last stream, or at least we talked about it last stream. They had him running more than I've ever seen him run before.
Yeah,
that's a very, very good thing. I would like to see him walk more than 30 times in 100 games or however many he played. But the dude does have 40-40 upside. Like, I actually genuinely believe that in a full healthy season, Luis Robert can go 40-40. But there's a lot of ways that it can go very, very wrong. So that's purely a cross my fingers and hope for the upside type of play. And, maybe he gets traded somewhere to a better situation.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best outcome. What's up, Adam? I don't believe we're going to be running another draft. I do have to be on the road early tomorrow, so maybe I'll jump into one and draft from my bed after this. But we are done with this. What up? Nez is here. Welcome, Nez. You're probably getting your nose strip on.
Hello, Nez.
And oh yeah, we'll be back next Friday for sure. And drafting again. Probably every Friday, as many Fridays as I can until the season starts.
I'll probably knock one out on Monday. I was thinking like Monday and Thursday next week. I might, do one on stream or whatever. So
awesome. And for those who don't know, it's the same as the handle, right? WooWooJTrain,
it is
the YouTube channel.
Nice and easy. Yep, that's where you can find me on Twitter, X. Got my own little YouTube channel here. Just do streams every once in a while. I've only done one so far, but want to get into a good rhythm. But I just like to come on and draft with people in the chat and hang out, just have a good time. So I'll probably do a couple next week if anybody's interested in hopping in. But of course, make sure to give Sheep your likes and your subscribes and your bell notifications first, because
and if you're not subscribed to Stacking Dingers, go do it. We're going to get to 500 before the baseball season begins. We're almost at 400. That's my goal. It's a lofty goal, but we'll see. We'll see what this game does. Once the Dinger opens, what kind of influx people we have, and once football winds down, I'm excited.
Yeah, I can't wait for the Dinger to open up, because we're 90 days away from opening day. Somewhat soon-ish after the Dinger opens, we'll start seeing the bat and other projection systems and stuff. So we'll just have more information to go off on. Tristan Cassis feels like an amazing pick in this spot, so I'm just gonna roll with him.
Okay. I'm gonna hop on Bregman here. Don't know where he ends up at this point. Seems like Houston's out on him.
Probably.
And looking at pitcher here, I don't have much George Kirby, so let's take a George Kirby pick here.
Based on your scrolling and looking, would I be incorrect to assume that this range of players isn't overly appealing to you? Because it's not overly appealing to me.
That is correct. That is... Yeah, here, and there's another good point. Bregman's ADP will rise. I've, tried to speculate on stacks with him, but at this point, I've kind of given up because it doesn't sound like the market. Him and Pete Alonso both seem like guys that the market is kind of leaving behind based on their, what the teams that should want them back are saying about their negotiations.
Yeah.
Both of their, teams from before have said that they're not in the same place. So, the Mets and the Astros, both relatively smart organizations. But I don't know what dumb organization, quote unquote, would jump in on that. All right. So you took Taylor Ward there. Yeah. I keep grabbing him. Just like maybe I don't want to say he's sneaky, but like I don't think a lot of people would know that he put up that many points last year.
Yeah, he looked good for a good chunk of the season last year. I have quite a bit of him because it's no secret. I've been pretty loud that I'm very in on Mike Trout. He's my second highest owned player, which is terrifying, but also will be glorious when it works out for me. So I've been trying to stack Angels quite a bit because of that. So I'm getting to a decent chunk of Ward. I have a lot of Soler. It's just like that range, drafting in like the 9 through 12 hole, you get to that range of players. I'm just I'm not excited about drafting Framber Valdez, Altuve, Roki Sasaki. I've got my shares early, so I'm kind of outish on him now. Bregman doesn't do much for me. Kirby's fine. Hunter Green feels too expensive. Logan Webb's boring. Like it's just that range of players is just so difficult for me to click anyone. So I've found myself just scrolling down to Taylor Ward quite a bit lately.
Yeah. For me, it is very similar. A lot of times I'll scroll down. Sometimes I'll fit an infielder here, a McLean, a Chapman, Casas if he falls a little bit.
Yeah. McLean feels amazing down here. Where are you at on Junior Caminero? Because I don't know if I have more than 1 or 2 shares of him, and that scares me. But he just kind of gets lost in this range for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, that is a guy who needs to do some actual research on. He's a name that we've been hearing about for a while, coming up for the Rays, and right, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Just and the initial glance is I shouldn't be ignoring him, but he's a name that just I don't have anything to latch onto, so I just gloss over him. So I think we're probably similar there then in that case.
I'm guessing his price is only going to increase too, because there's always multiple prospects who get crazy steamed. And I think that he's probably going to be one of the highest risers of the prospects in general. So I might just have to fade him and hope for the best, because the dude has a ton of talent. He has a ton of power. Like, it's a pretty scary fade, but rookies, when they come to the bigs, sometimes they, it seems more often than not, they really, really struggle, at least for a period. I mean, it happened to Jackson Holiday last year, who was a can't miss. He was pretty rough when he first came out, figured some stuff out and looked better later. So I don't know. I think I'm probably at this point going to be mostly out on Caminero, unless somehow he gets back to me here and I might take him, put my foot in my mouth, but whatever.
Yeah. And that's where my, my prospect knowledge really is not helpful, or lack of is not helpful when it comes to these guys. Kind of need, and it doesn't seem like there's much chatter about him either, like stuff to do research on.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and just go for the talent here and hope he can actually stay healthy, which we all know he probably won't. But Tyler Glasnow at 107 feels pretty good.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's do 2 washed up Toronto guys, Springer and Bichette. I'm not really loving the correlation that I've got going on here. So I'm going to try to introduce a little bit more. I don't know how deep I want to go on Toronto this year at all. That's an interesting landing place. If, they were supposedly in on Soto, so why can't they put some of that money towards Santander, who we were talking about earlier?
Yeah, that'd be fun. It'd be a fun spot. Or maybe they can trade for like a Luis Robert or something.
There you go.
I have no idea what their farm system looks like, but
Adam's saying, he's probably going to hit a slump, but thinks that he has Churio upside. So,
I mean, I don't think that's an incorrect statement. Like, Caminero's probably going to be a problem. It's just, will it all click? We got to remember, this contest doesn't go the entire season, too. Like, if rookies start out slow, they get, like with Jackson Holiday last year. I said it earlier. Like, he came back and was pretty good in late August and September, but this contest was basically over by then. Not saying, obviously, because that happened to Jackson Holiday doesn't mean it's going to happen to Junior Caminero, but I just I'm hesitant to draft rookies high in baseball, period, because it's just the jump from AAA to major leagues is just completely different, just a different animal.
Right. And what is Tampa game to be like, or that offense going to be like this year? Adam was saying it. Maybe a better home run park. For lefties, is Caminero lefty?
He is. Okay. I believe he's a switch hitter, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I think. Could be wrong.
So, no, just to clarify, Adam, the bullpen doesn't end earlier. It ends the same time as the dinger, I'm guessing. But he's saying it doesn't go through the full season. I guess it doesn't have the actual weeks here. But
Caminero's a righty. Sorry, that's my bad.
Okay.
He's listed on MLB side as righty.
Yeah. Dr. Flush. So I started working on my rankings, and yes, I will have rankings. We will be putting them out on Stacking Dingers, working with Jason and Chris right now. Jason, sorry. Billy, you're Jason. Billy and Chris and myself are working on that rankings document and how we're going to be presenting that sometime early in January. We'll be releasing those and hopefully getting updates every couple of weeks on those. Those will be through the Substack, the stackingdingers.com Substack, once those are out. And I don't know exactly the details on that yet.
Excited to see more Chris. We haven't seen our guy baseball in a little bit, so
yeah,
it's always nice to see him and utilize his wonderful spreadsheet that he creates for us.
I was bugging him about that. We'll see. We got to get that too. I have maybe one Hap share this year. It feels pretty bad to be out on my guy, but I mean, I'm taking Brian Reynolds later, and that's sort of the similar profile where it is Hap going. I guess I took him at the same.
They're the same guy to me, so I'm with you. I don't have much of either of them.
But. So maybe I'm wrong. I need to get back in on Hap because I think they could be really great offense. The Cubs. We got PCA, who I have capitulated on. I know earlier in a Stacking Dingers episode, I was talking poorly about him. Let's take him here. I think looking at him, and we're going to take a really boring outfielder and close our outfield real quick here. That's what we're going to do in this. Didn't love any of these later stacking options with the teams I was stacking. So we're going to close outfield out here and just turn that button off the rest of the draft. But to continue my Cubs thought, the changes and improvements, it's very small sample size on PCA, but definitely saw a change in his profile, some power he started to get to. I still think he's not going to get a ton of hits, but I think he's got like 20, 40 potential, 20 home runs, 40 stolen bases at a high-end outcome. And I think at this price, it could be there. So add in, or two things, add in Kyle Tucker to that offense and clear a outfield spot for PCA's Glove to be in every day at the lineup. Even if he's batting ninth or whatever, he should get a lot of opportunity this year.
Yeah, that's one thing's for certain is he's going to play every single day because he's just elite in the field. I've questioned if he can hit enough to pay off that price, but might be a guy I need to look into a little more. I have zero. I have absolute zero right now.
Okay.
But definitely could be one of those guys I'm wrong on. And might need to get some in there. I know the Cubs are probably going to be a pretty hot team when it comes to people's favorites to stack as time goes on, because you can get, obviously Kyle Tucker you got to spend a first round on, but you can get Seiya Suzuki at a decent price. Same with PCA, Horner, Swanson, Michael Busch is really late. Like the Cubs are pretty easy to stack if you want to do it.
And if you want to take a bet on Matt Shaw getting consistent and sticking, he's always there late too. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only one basically I'm not taking is Nico Horner.
Yeah, he's going to accumulate. He's going to score points. He put up almost 1,400 in 2023 and just a shade under 1,200 last year. There's really not much power there, but he's going to get on base. He's going to hit a ton of singles. He's going to steal. He just kind of like, if I was to pick between Luis Arraez and Nico Horner, which I wouldn't, but I will have zero Luis Arraez this year. I'm just telling you right now. There's no way.
Absolutely.
I would take Nico Horner over him literally every single time in this format.
Yeah, so Arraez, who should be like 200, 220 is ADP, then I would consider it.
I also don't understand this Mason Wen thing.
Absolutely. I haven't really talked about it, but absolutely. Where is this hype coming from?
He he's been one of their top prospects for a minute, so I know that. Like, I mean, he throws the ball very hard across the diamond. I guess, last year looking at his points total, like 1146 is decent, but I don't understand what he's doing at 150. It just seems off to me.
Right.
Gonna plot out my next move here. I might just play the hits for these next couple picks. So my last pick, I went with Jackson Holiday at 134. I don't have too many shares of him.
Okay.
134 for like the number one prospect in baseball last year.
Right.
He's probably going to be there every single day. Like, I'm willing to kind of roll the dice on him and see what happens. I don't know where you're at on him.
It's another name that I'm sort of blind to.
Okay.
No, I definitely think this price is fine for the potential of him figuring it out.
I don't like the price on this next pick. I wish he was cheaper, but I'm trying to get a little bit more Michael Tully on my lineups here.
Okay.
He's got a ton of power, and he's playing in Coors, which is always good.
Yeah, he's purely a stack piece for me.
Okay.
All right. Excuse me. Let's do it. Let's take my two favorite hurt guys. We're gonna scroll down for Brandon Woodruff and Robbie Ray here. Think I got a nice consistent basis of innings here. With Reagans and Kirby potentially. So
Robbie Ray feels like that guy this year that could absolutely destroy you. From his ADP is what, 175 right now?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you completely fade him at that price, he could just annihilate your soul. Counterpoint to that, we don't know if he's still any good because he's been hurt for so long. But if you go back a couple years, he had some pretty eye-popping point totals in this format. So 10. I've been trying to get to a little bit more Robbie Ray.
Yeah, I mean, I go back and look at his, I don't know how many starts he made, but 31 innings and 43 strikeouts. Mm-hmm. That's the Robbie Ray I want.
Yep.
If I get 120 innings out of him, that might be the risk.
And the beautiful thing about this format is we do not care at all about walks. Not one bit.
Right.
Aside from, obviously, they can boost an ERA. People could score more runs, but walks do not punish you. And that is where Robbie Ray gets punished a lot, is walks. So he's kind of like a Dylan Cease type, honestly. Not as good as Dylan Cease, I don't think, at this point, but he feels like a dude who could destroy you if you completely fade him this late. I don't know. I've really come back around on him.
I'm much more worried about Brandon Woodruff destroying me in the other direction.
Yeah, me
given
too.
The shoulder surgery,
mm-hmm.
And history of health there. Robbie Ray's coming off of TJ, so he's got that, grace period or honeymoon period with the TJ. Yeah, and pitching in San Francisco is an added bonus. You kind of completed a thought I was trying to get out earlier on Cole Reagans being in this group or taking him over these guys that could be scoring a lot. Cole Reagans, surprisingly, based on the profile he kind of had throughout last season, I don't know how surprising or whatever, but not exactly what you thought in the whip department in guys on base. He definitely struggled there. in starts. Like if you're paying premium for him in DFS, you're sometimes kind of disappointed with all the guys he had on base. But I saw, my fear last season on Reagan's was, can he last the whole season? And it seems like, so the year he started in KC, he started off really hot and kind of came down to earth towards the end of it, and then I don't know if this was on purpose or whatever, but whatever we saw last year, it was pretty consistent. There was guys on base, but he had strikeouts, and he pitched deep into games, and KC win potential in that division is good. So I think I really like him in this format.
Yeah, I'm there. His price, Reagan's price he was one of those dudes who got like very, very hyped last year. So his price got to a point where I was virtually out on him. I had some, but it didn't necessarily kill me. But the price that he's at right now in that range, like I'm gravitating more towards Snell and Cole and some other guys. In this spot, I'm going to go ahead and let's see. Do I take the mini? I'm just going to go with the pitcher that I think, could have like a breakout season this year. Last year, 145 innings pitched, 171 strikeouts, 4.5-ish ERA.
Okay.
Arrighetti out of Houston.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you're going to go with Woo or Arrighetti there in terms of, the breakout. Okay.
I feel like Brian Woo is a sneeze away from his arm falling off. I don't know. He's terrifying to me.
I'm surprised that he got 120 innings last year. That was not what I expected. Let's see. I'm going to take Eovaldi here. And Luzardo has really come up in price since he got traded. This is kind of a roll of the dice here. I'm going to take Cal Raleigh here.
Okay.
A lot of my infielders match this profile at this point. The Cal Raleigh, Wilson Contreras. If they're going to come outside of stacks, I want these guys that can have these massive home run weeks.
Yeah, and if you didn't take him, I was probably going to go ahead and do the mini with Julio, but I went ahead and took Josh Young, who I have a ton of. The only concern I have about him, wrist things are always scary, right? And he had, 2 of them last year, I think. So if he's healthy, though, if he's fully healthy, getting him in the 16th round feels like an absolute smash. Texas has been my favorite team to stack all year so far. So I've been doing quite a bit of Seager. I have a ton of Josh Young, and I have a ton of Evan Carter, too. Didn't get him in this draft, but that Texas offense could be one of those that really bounces back in a big way this year, and I don't want to miss it if that happens.
Yeah, and I think there's a good sign that, they brought in Berger, right? And then they traded it back out Lau, Nathaniel. So I think that's a good sign in terms of their belief of Young being good to go to play third base this year.
Yeah. I agree. It just feels like one of those guys, like last year, Matt Chapman to me was horrendously mispriced all draft season. I thought the bat kind of echoed that. His projection was way better than his ADP, and I loaded up on him. And this year, I think Josh Young is kind of my Matt Chapman. Like he's a dude who, barring any news that would, prevent me from drafting him, I think I'm probably going to be like 30% on Josh Young this year. I mean, I'm at like 40 right now. So
okay.
he's just kind of one of those guys. I'm planting my flag and saying, if his wrist is healthy, he should be going multiple rounds higher, in my opinion. I think we forget how good of a rookie year this guy had, and he got derailed last year.
So just hopping over to Fangraphs quick, the quick thing that I always look at in terms of health is, EV and max EV, and compare it to what they were before. So 2023, when he kind of the injury started to happen, he still had a average EV of 91.8. Last season it was 86.2. His max was still up there at 108. But yeah, that number goes back because his wrist feels good after, a full off season. And you could be in the money there in terms of some home run potential.
Yeah, it's, the exposure to him is, like I said, it's kind of twofold. I just believe that he's a great price right now, but just the Texas stack just feels amazing. So it's just kind of two different factors going into my exposure with him. And then our guy Adam bringing up in the chat here, a guy that I've clicked a few times, in Bryce Terang. Like, the only aversion I have to him is the zero power that he has. In this format, I feel like you really need to be able to hit some home runs to score points in bunches. Yeah. But he feels like a pretty safe play this late if you're just looking for like a consistent outfielder. Like, I'm taking him over,
infielder,
Spencer Torkelson and all that. So yeah,
infielder, sorry.
Yeah, my bad.
All right, you're on the clock.
Why do I want to draft Sedon here? You know what? I'm going to mini him with Cassis. Let's have fun with the young guy.
Okay. Don't think I've taken him at all.
I don't have much, but I got him at a 30 ADP discount here, so.
All right, I'm going to go boring here. I'm going to scroll down to a Merrill Kelly pick and a Nestor Cortez pick and close out my pitching here with 7 pitchers, 6 outfielders, and then we'll work on filling in a couple of infielders.
Another thing that the Nathaniel Lowe trade cleared up is this Jock Peterson thing. This will be the first time I've clicked on him, because he's a stack partner with my Rangers, and I think he still has some decent power. I do worry about him platooning with somebody. I don't know who, but I don't know. I felt like I needed a 6th outfielder here, and I don't have any interest in Varsho. Roman Anthony's too much of a question mark. Is Kjerstad going to get playing time? And I have a little bit of Jesus Sanchez. It's just, once you get here, if you don't have your 6th outfielder by the 18th round, it feels pretty ugly to me.
Absolutely. No matter the team, Jock's been my 6th outfielder if I need one here. I mean, let's Varsho, just have not seen it for a couple of years. He hits a consistent amount of home runs, steals some bags. Might not start the season with the team. Jesus Sanchez is, do I want to take anybody on Miami? Probably not. True. Yoshida, what job is he going to have? Fearlings, platoon. That's why Victor Robles is sitting here. Because when you're looking at these names, you're like, well, maybe
it's possible.
Maybe I can take him again. Maybe, what we saw last year, the bags are there. The home runs obviously aren't, but is he going to lead off? He leads off. Julio has a resurgence.
Yeah. And, it just, that none of these names are appealing to me. Like, Andy Pages just died with the Teoscar signing. He's undraftable, in my opinion. The fact that Matt Vierling has an ADP is shocking to me. Like, I don't why. I love me some Garrett Mitchell, but that's just a speculative. Like, can the first round guy who hasn't done it for 3 years do it for once in his life? Like, it's just outfield is brutal from like the 17th round on.
Yeah, I mean, these names just I don't even know who Walker Jenkins is, I'll be honest, but yeah, it's hard to want any of these guys, either age, injury, platoon. You can just poke holes in any of them.
And even I can't believe in Chris Bryant again. I was like, all right, last year I was like, this is his bounce back year. He's going to stay healthy. He's going to hit. And then he did none of that at all. He wasn't healthy. And when he was very bad at baseball. There's a name here like Chas McCormick, I guess, because Houston's outfield right now is abysmal.
Mm-hmm.
So
speaking of Anthony Santander, you get rid of Tucker. What if he's so easy? I just want to put him on every team that needs an outfielder and wants to compete next year.
Let's see. I gotta plot out this is a really weird build for me, actually. The fact that I was done with infielder in the 17th round is very odd. I'm usually finishing my last pick or two with infielders. So now I'm stuck like, do I do a 7-7-6 build with two like question mark pitchers? I'm not really loving the position I'm in right now. So let's go ahead and I think this outfield needs another outfielder. And you did it last time I was on stream, so I'm going to go ahead and do it this time. We're just going to roll with Garrett Mitchell.
Okay. Your man, Garrett Mitchell.
Yep.
All right. So we kind of have this. Man, do I want Andres Jimenez? I talk about not wanting Nico Horner, and why do I want to take Andres Jimenez? Let's build this Pittsburgh stack. Let's take someone who I haven't taken at all in Spencer Horwitz, and then let us. I can't ignore Will Smith. We're going to tack him on there as our 7th infielder. Adam here is predicting a 25-25 Garrett Mitchell season, which as the leading best ball Garrett Mitchell fan, you will enjoy, and as a Brewers fan, I will enjoy. Mm-hmm. So we'll take that.
Yes, I will take my check to the bank. I don't know. DJ Hurts. This is bad. I don't like any pitchers or outfielders really in this last round, to be honest. There's just too many, there's too many question marks. Like Ranger Suarez looked like the smashiest smash who's ever smashed last year.
Yeah.
And then he turned into a pumpkin.
Uh-oh.
So I don't know that I believe in that.
Yes. You got Daniel. Dan, man.
My bad. But I don't know.
And he takes Eric Fetty, so he was totally tilted if you're taking Eric Fetty.
I mean, Eric Fetty was my other guy. I autoed him yesterday, and my mental state was in very bad shape drafting Eric Fetty.
Adam out here in the chat calling out a lot of good shouts to CES. Is a guy I'm definitely interested in.
Mm-hmm. Noel V. Marte, 20th round, single draft.
I'm going to take CS. I'm going to take CS over him every time.
Yeah, okay. Or you could love fun and double tap them 19th,
there you 20th
go. Round.
It's totally interesting, crazy to see Clay Holmes go. Mm-hmm. They said he's going to be a starter, but since then they've added Manaya's back. The depth there is big for the Mets. So I don't know if that was. I don't know how that experiment's going to go. I've taken a few of shots at Clay Holmes, and I think when you're deciding between Eric Fedde and Clay Holmes and Luis Severino, might as well shoot for some upside there too.
Yeah. As a Brewers fan, is Tobias Myers for real? Like, is he a thing? Should I be looking at him? Okay. No. All right, cool.
No.
Like, I want to buy into the Shane Baz thing, but I'm not sure that the Rays are going to let him throw more than 120 innings. Like,
yeah.
Just same with Jackson Jobe.
No, I mean, I think Tobias Meyer, when it comes down to it, does not have the strikeout upside that I want in the risk that I'm getting. With the way that the Brewers rotation can shake out and how they can use guys. He is really a fringe guy who did well last year, so he's stuck. He's on the other side of that variance, and he doesn't stick, and he's a bullpen long arm, right?
Okay.
And DL Hall's the guy, that sort of thing. So
right.
If
and they could flip flop those guys, like they could, start with DL Hall, limit his innings, put him in the bullpen, bring out Myers too. They could do something like that.
Yeah, he is not on my radar at all.
Okay. Cool.
So I think you look at his ERA and the success that he had last year, and the underlying stuff doesn't super match with it, with what we saw. So that's where I just think that regression monster hits him, and we see the reality, and he doesn't have the in-game strikeout upside that you would want for a guy that only gets 15 starts or whatever out of him.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so I ended up 776. Reagan's Kirby, Woodruff, Ray, Eovaldi, Kelly, Cortez. No real outliers here for me. Kirby, maybe a guy I haven't gotten much of. Infield is a little bit different for me. I don't have a lot of Jose, but Jose Ramirez, O'Neill Cruz, Alex Bregman, Bo Bichette, Cal Raleigh, Spencer Horwitz, and Will Smith. Horwitz, I don't know why I clicked him, but we just wanted to build a little bit into that Pittsburgh stack. Schwarber, Harris, Reynolds, Springer, PCA, and JHL. I'm just
you finished outfield early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost could have been an 8 infielder build.
Yeah, you could have gone either way. Like you could have turned Nestor Cortez into, maybe CES or something like that. But no problem at all with it.
Yeah. All right. Well, so let me grab your lineup.
Okay.
We definitely got both interesting builds being on the end here.
Yeah, I don't really love this team, but the pitching staff has an insane amount of upside. So I picked 11th. I have a 6-7-7 build. Garrett Cole, Tyler Glasnow, Grayson Rodriguez, Joe Ryan, Spencer Arrighetti, and DJ Hertz. A lot of strikeout potential there. The infield is Mookie Betts, Corey Seager, Tristan Cassis, Jackson Holiday, Michael Tolia, Josh Young, and Sedane Rafaela. I got to learn how to say that guy's name. Close enough. And then outfields, Julio Rodriguez, Anthony Santander, Luis Robert Jr., Taylor Ward, Josh Lowe, Jock Peterson, and Garrett Mitchell. Like I said, I don't not in love with this team necessarily. The pitching staff has eye-popping upside, honestly. Start to start, week to week. This outfield looks a little questionable, but I got my guys. I got a ton of Taylor Ward, Josh Lowe, and Garrett Mitchell. So, we'll just hope I get that right and it works out for me.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's the show. Thank you everybody for hanging out and drafting. We appreciate you. Adam has a good vibes on your team.
I like it. I'll take the vibes.
Non-chalky upside team. So yeah, we'll be back next Friday or Saturday on the Sheep Seats, stackingdingers.com. I will, I don't think we'll have an episode out next week with the holiday again being on over our recording time. But we'll be back in early January for that with our rankings and, hopefully get a couple more fun guests lined up and all that good stuff. And then once Dinger's out, get deep into our strategy and player coverage once we hit that full stride draft season. Jason, it's been wonderful again hanging out and drafting with you.
Thank you for having me. It's fun every time, man. I really enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Go check him out, WooWooJTrain on YouTube. He should be trying to get some streams together soon too. So for Jason and myself, let's get out there and fill the bullpen so we can get into the Dinger.